Before you embark on this incredible journey of unexpected love and profound healing, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and tell us in the comments what city you're reading from. Your support helps us share more stories that truly touch the soul. Part 1. The Midnight Secret. What are you doing? Liam's voice sliced through the pre-dawn silence like a knife. Clara froze in the rocking chair, little Leo still latched to her breast. The dim light of the nursery illuminated a scene Liam never expected to find at 3 in the morning. Mr. Thorne, I can explain. Clara's hands trembled as she tried to cover the baby with the blanket. Her eyes, wide and filled with tears, met Liam's stunned gaze. Silence stretched between them like an abyss. Explain then, Liam said, his voice softer now, but laced with confusion. Since when? Since I arrived, Clara whispered. Leo was hungry, and the bottle wouldn't calm him. I had milk, and I needed to feel like I could save someone. Liam ran a hand through his hair, trying to process what he was seeing. 3 months ago, when Sarah died in childbirth, his world had imploded. Leo cried constantly, rejected formula, and Liam felt utterly lost. Then Clara arrived. He remembered her perfectly. It was an October morning when she knocked on the door of his penthouse in Westwick Towers. Liam had interviewed a dozen nannies, and all had been a disaster. One fell asleep while Leo cried. Another spent her time on the phone, and the worst of them tried to flirt with him as soon as he left for work. But Clara was different. She arrived with a somewhat vague letter of recommendation, no local references, and spoke very little during the interview. However, when she took Leo in her arms, something magical happened. The baby, who had been inconsolable all morning, calmed instantly. Where exactly do you come from? Liam had asked her that day. From Redwood Falls, sir. I came to the city looking for work. Do you have experience with babies? Clara had lowered her gaze. Yes, sir. Lots of experience. She hadn't lied. From the first day, Leo seemed transformed. He ate better, slept more, and for the first time since Sarah's death, Liam was able to sleep through the night. Clara got up with the baby. She calmed him and seemed to understand every one of his cries. Liam noticed strange things, of course. Clara barely ate. She always seemed sad when she thought no one was watching, and several times he found her in the bathroom with a breast pump that he thought she used for hygiene. It never occurred to him to ask her why. You have milk? Liam asked now, his voice barely a murmur. Clara nodded slowly. I had a daughter. I lost her 3 months ago. The words fell like stones in the silence of the room. Liam felt the air leave his lungs. Everything began to make sense. The sadness in her eyes, her way of holding Leo as if he were the most precious thing in the world, the way she got up at night without him asking. Clara, he began, but he didn't know what to say. I didn't want to deceive you, she continued, tears rolling down her cheeks. But Leo was so hungry and I needed to feel like I could save someone. Liam approached slowly. Leo had finished eating and was sleeping peacefully in Clara's arms. His son, who for weeks had been an irritable and difficult baby, looked completely at peace. How long have you been doing this? Since the 2nd week. At first, only when you weren't around. But then he looked for me, and I couldn't refuse. Liam sat in the chair next to the rocking chair. For the first time in months, he truly observed Clara, not as the employee he had hired, but as the woman who had been caring for his son with a dedication that went beyond any job. What was her name? He asked softly. Hope, Clara replied, her voice broken. Her name was Hope. The name floated between them like a prayer. Liam extended his hand, and after a moment's hesitation, Clara gave him hers. Her fingers were cold and trembling. "Forgive me," she whispered. "I know I had no right, but—" "No!" Liam interrupted her. "Don't apologize. Look at him." Both looked down at Leo, who slept with an expression of complete satisfaction that Liam hadn't seen in months. "Since when hasn't he cried so little?" Clara smiled despite the tears. "He's been sleeping 6 hours straight all week." Liam couldn't believe it. The dark circles he had carried for months began to make sense. It wasn't just the fatigue of grief. It was the lack of sleep from endless nights with an inconsolable baby. "Do you have enough milk for him?" The question surprised Clara. "Yes, sir. Too much, in fact." Liam was silent for a long moment, processing everything. The ethics of the situation, the legal complications, what people would say. But then he looked at his son. He really looked, and saw something he hadn't seen since before Sarah died. A completely happy baby. "We'll talk tomorrow," he finally said, standing up. "But for now, thank you." Clara looked at him in surprise. "You're not going to fire me?" Liam paused at the nursery door. "Clara, for the first time in 3 months, my son is healthy and happy. For the first time in 3 months, I was able to sleep through the night. If you're asking me if I'm going to fire you for that, the answer is no. Definitely not." When he closed the door behind him, Liam leaned against the hallway wall. His world had just changed again. But this time, for the first time since Sarah's death, the change didn't feel like a tragedy. In the room, Clara continued to rock Leo, her tears now mixed with something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. What an unexpected turn. How would you react if you were Liam? Do you think Clara's actions were right, given the circumstances? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for the continuation of this astonishing story. Part 2. An unspoken bond. Liam didn't sleep the rest of the night. He stayed awake in his bed, staring at the ceiling and trying to understand what he had seen. At 6 in the morning, he heard Clara moving around the kitchen, preparing breakfast as usual. When he came downstairs, she was facing away from him, making coffee. Her shoulders were tense, and Liam noticed she had been crying. "Good morning," he said softly. Clara turned around, her eyes red and swollen. "Good morning, Mr. Thorne. Would you like me to pack my things? I understand if you'd prefer me to leave today." "Sit down," Liam said, gesturing to the table. "We need to talk." Clara sat down, her hands clasped on the table, expecting the inevitable. Liam poured himself coffee and sat opposite her. "Tell me about your daughter." The words came out as a whisper. Clara closed her eyes. "She was born on July 15th, 2 months premature. She lived for 3 days." Liam felt his heart clench. "The father?" "There is no father," Clara replied bitterly. "Well, yes, there is. But when he found out I was pregnant, he disappeared. My family? My family disowned me when I refused to get rid of the baby." "Is that why you came to the city?" Clara nodded. "I had nowhere to go. I sold everything I had for the bus fare. I arrived here knowing no one. With this," she touched her chest, "with this milk that wouldn't stop, reminding me every minute of what I had lost." Liam observed her as she spoke. The shy, reserved woman he had known was fading, revealing someone marked by deep pain, but also incredible strength. "Did you study anything?" "Social work at Redwood Falls University, but I never finished. The pregnancy, things got complicated. And you found my ad?" "Yes." She had responded to all of them, but everyone wanted local references, verifiable experience. "You were the only one who gave me a chance." Liam remembered that day. He was desperate. Leo had been crying for 6 hours straight, and Liam had an important presentation at the office the next day. "Since when did you know you had enough milk for Leo?" Clara blushed. "Since the first day. I had to pump anyway to avoid getting sick. At first I threw it away, but it hurt too much to waste it when I saw Leo was still hungry after his bottle." "Explain how it started." "The second week. You had gone to work, and Leo wouldn't stop crying. He had finished his bottle, but he kept looking for more. I picked him up to calm him, and he latched onto my shirt. It was pure instinct." Liam nodded. He knew that desperation of a hungry baby. "Did I hurt you last night? By surprising you like that?" "No, sir, but I was afraid you would hate me." "Clara, look at me," Liam said, waiting until she looked up. "In 3 months, my son went from being an inconsolable baby to the happiest child I've ever seen. He gained weight, sleeps well, smiles. Do you think I'm going to hate you for that?" Clara's eyes filled with tears again. "But it's not right. People will think—" "I care very little about what people think," Liam interrupted her. "I care about my son, and I care about you finding some peace after what you went through." Clara looked at him in surprise. "What do you mean?" Liam stood up and went to the window. Outside, the city began to wake up with its usual chaos. "I mean that if this helps you and helps Leo, then let's keep doing it. Officially." "Officially?" "I'm going to talk to the pediatrician. I'm going to research everything you need to know. And if he says it's safe and healthy, then we continue." Clara was silent for a long moment. "Why?" she finally asked. "Why would you do that for me?" Liam turned to her. "Because when my wife died, I thought I would never see my son truly happy again. And you gave that back to me. But more than that, because I think we both need to heal. And maybe this is the way." The next few days were a revelation. Liam researched everything about wet nursing, consulted with Leo's pediatrician, and even spoke with a lactation specialist. Everyone agreed. If Clara was healthy and Leo was thriving, there was no medical problem. But something else was changing. Liam began to see Clara differently, not just as the employee who cared for his son, but as the woman who had sacrificed her comfort to give Leo what he needed. One night, 2 weeks after their conversation, Liam arrived home late from work. He found Clara in the living room, with Leo asleep in her arms after eating. "How was today?" he asked, sitting on the sofa next to her. "Good. He ate 3 times. He took 2 long naps. I think he's growing because he wants to eat more often." Liam observed his son. In 3 months, Leo had gone from being a thin, fussy baby to a chubby, calm child. "How are you?" The question surprised Clara. "Me?" "Yes, you. I never ask how you are." Clara smiled, a real smile for the first time since he had known her. "Better. Every day a little better. Does it hurt less?" "Yes. Caring for Leo. It's like a part of hope is still alive, as if I could be a mother, even in this way." Liam felt something stir in his chest, a warmth he hadn't felt in months. "You know what's the strangest thing?" he said. "For the first time since Sarah died, this house feels like a home again." Their gazes met, and for a moment, the air between them shifted. There was something new, something neither of them dared to name yet. Leo stirred in Clara's arms, making a satisfied sound that made them both laugh. "I think he's dreaming," Clara whispered. "He's probably dreaming of food," Liam joked. "Like every man," Clara replied, and they both laughed. It was the first time Liam had truly laughed since Sarah's death, and as he watched Clara cuddle his son, he realized that something fundamental had changed in his life. It was no longer just about survival. It was about healing. It was about finding a new way to be a family. That night, when Clara went to her room, Liam stayed awake again. But this time, it wasn't from anxiety or pain. It was from something dangerously akin to hope. What do you make of the growing bond between Liam and Clara? Do you think their unconventional arrangement can truly lead to healing for both of them? Share your thoughts and hopes for their future in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow this incredible story. Part 3. Unexpected Challenges. Liam? Where's my grandson? Eleanor Vance's voice boomed from the apartment entrance like thunder on a clear day. Liam almost choked on his coffee. It had been 4 months since he last saw his mother-in-law, and he hadn't expected to see her again. Eleanor, he said, standing up quickly. I didn't know you were coming. Obviously, she replied, entering with 2 large suitcases. I called 3 times last week. You never answered. Liam remembered the missed calls. He had been avoiding talking to Sarah's family because every conversation ended in tears or reproaches. Where's Leo? He's napping. Eleanor, you can't just show up like this without warning. I'm that child's grandmother. She interrupted him. I have the right to see him whenever I want. At that moment, Clara came downstairs with Leo in her arms. The baby had grown noticeably in recent months. He was chubby, smiling, and clearly healthy. Mr. Thorne, Leo is awake and… Clara stopped when she saw the older woman in the living room. Eleanor observed her from head to toe with critical eyes. Clara was young, pretty, and clearly had a very close relationship with the baby, who looked completely comfortable in her arms. And who is this? Eleanor asked dryly. This is Clara, Leo's nanny, Liam replied. Clara, this is Eleanor, Sarah's mother. Clara gave a small bow. Nice to meet you, ma'am. Eleanor didn't respond. She approached and extended her arms towards Leo. Give me my grandson. Clara looked at Liam, who nodded. When Eleanor took the baby, Leo immediately began to cry. What's wrong with him? Eleanor asked, surprised. He doesn't know you, Liam explained. He's only been with me and Clara these past few months. Only with you two? Eleanor's tone became accusatory. A complete stranger is raising my daughter's child? Leo continued to cry. Clara instinctively moved closer. May I? She asked softly. As soon as Leo was back in Clara's arms, he calmed immediately. Eleanor observed the scene with narrowed eyes. I need to talk to you, she told Liam. Alone. Clara, can you take Leo to the garden? Liam asked. When they were alone, Eleanor wasted no time. What's going on here, Liam? What do you mean? That girl isn't just a nanny. You can see the way she looks at the baby, the way he responds to her. How long has she been here? 4 months. And where did you find this, Clara? Liam felt defensive. She responded to an ad. She has experience with babies. References? Eleanor, what are you getting at? That my grandson is being raised by a complete stranger while you… She paused, observing him. Look at you. You look better. Rested. How long has it been since you looked like that? Liam didn't respond, but Eleanor continued. Does she live here? Yes, she's live-in. A young, pretty woman, living in your house, caring for your child. Liam, please, tell me you're not that naive. What are you implying? That Sarah died just 6 months ago and you already have a replacement? Do you think I don't notice? The accusation hit Liam like a slap. She's not a replacement. She's someone who takes very good care of my son. And nothing else? Liam was silent for too long. In recent weeks, he had begun to feel something for Clara. The way she sang while cooking, how she laughed with Leo, the way she listened to him when he came home tired from work. But he wasn't ready to admit it, not even to himself. Liam, I came here to help, his mother-in-law continued. Sarah was my only daughter. Leo is all I have left of her. I'm not going to allow an opportunist to take advantage of your grief to get into this family. Clara is not an opportunist. How do you know? Did you investigate her past? Did you talk to her previous references? Do you know why a young woman comes alone to the capital city to care for other people's children? Liam realized he actually knew very little about Clara's past, apart from what she had told him about her daughter. "I'm going to stay here for a while," Eleanor announced, "to better understand the situation and make sure my grandson is well cared for." "Eleanor, it's not necessary." "It is absolutely necessary. And if I find out that that girl isn't what she appears to be, I'm going to do everything I can to protect Leo, even if it means taking him with me to Evergreen Falls." The threat hung in the air like a sword. Liam knew Eleanor had resources and connections. If she decided to fight for Leo's custody, she could complicate things immensely. That night, during dinner, the tension was palpable. Eleanor observed Clara's every move, every interaction with Leo, every glance she exchanged with Liam. "Clara," Eleanor suddenly said, "tell me about your family." Clara tensed. "My family, ma'am?" "Yes. Where do you come from? What did your parents do? Why did you leave your hometown to come here?" "Eleanor," Liam intervened. "No, it's okay," Clara said. "I come from Redwood Falls. My father was a farmer. My mother sold food at the market. I came to the city looking for better opportunities." "And do you have a family of your own? Boyfriend? Children?" Clara's face crumpled for a moment. "No, ma'am." Eleanor noticed the reaction. "Are you sure?" "Eleanor, that's enough," Liam said firmly. "I just want to get to know the person who is caring for my grandson." After dinner, Liam found Clara in Leo's room feeding him. The door was closed, and Liam could see the intimacy of the moment. Clara singing softly while Leo ate, completely relaxed and happy. When Clara came out of the room, she ran into Liam in the hallway. "I'm so sorry about the way she treated you during dinner," he said in a low voice. "Don't worry. I understand she's protecting her grandson. Are you okay?" Clara looked him in the eyes. "Do you want me to leave?" The question caught him by surprise. "What? No. Why do you say that?" "Because maybe it's best, if my presence is going to cause problems between you and your family." "Clara, no. You're not going anywhere." They stood in the dark hallway, very close to each other. Liam could smell Clara's soft perfume, see the worry in her eyes. "Why?" she whispered. "Why is it important to you that I stay?" Liam couldn't answer with words. Instead, he raised his hand and gently touched Clara's cheek. She didn't pull away. And then, without thinking, Liam leaned in and kissed her. It was a soft kiss, filled with months of gratitude, of shared nights caring for Leo, of silent conversations, and of a connection that had grown without them realizing it. When they separated, both were trembling. "Liam," Clara whispered. "I'm sorry," he said. "I shouldn't have." "Don't apologize," she interrupted him. "But this complicates everything." Liam nodded. She was right. With Eleanor in the house, watching every move, a romance between them would be impossible to hide. "Maybe we should keep our distance," Clara said, "until she leaves." "And if she doesn't leave?" Clara looked at him sadly. "Then maybe I'll have to leave." That night, Liam stayed awake thinking about the kiss, about Eleanor's threats, and about the terrible possibility of losing Clara just as he realized his feelings for her were much deeper than he had admitted. In the next room, Eleanor was also awake, planning her next move. She had seen the kiss from her room window and now had all the information she needed to act. Eleanor's presence has complicated everything. Do you think Liam and Clara can navigate these challenges and protect their growing feelings? What would you do in their situation? Share your predictions and advice in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the shocking revelations in the next part of this story, Part 4. The unveiling truth. I have an appointment with Mr. Peterson tomorrow at 10. Eleanor dropped the phrase during breakfast, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Liam almost choked on his orange juice. What kind of appointment? He's a family lawyer. I want to understand what my rights as a grandmother are. Clara, who was preparing Leo's bottle in the kitchen, froze. Liam felt his blood run cold. Eleanor, you don't need a lawyer. You can see Leo whenever you want. Can I? She asked, looking directly at him. Because it seems to me that my grandson is being raised by a stranger, in a situation that, well, that doesn't seem appropriate for a child. What do you mean by that? Eleanor looked towards the kitchen where Clara pretended not to be listening. I think you already know what I mean. The next few days were hell. Eleanor documented everything. The hours Liam spent at work, the way Clara cared for Leo, every interaction between them. She took photos, made notes, and spoke on the phone in low tones with her lawyer. Liam and Clara barely spoke to each other when Eleanor was present. The kiss they had shared felt like something that had happened in another life. The tension in the house was so thick that even Leo had begun to get restless. One afternoon, Liam came home early from work and found Eleanor going through Clara's papers in the kitchen. "What are you doing?" he asked, furious. "Verifying information," she replied, unfazed. "Did you know she has no verifiable references from previous jobs with children? I already knew that when I hired her. And did you know she arrived in the city exactly 3 days after responding to your ad? Don't you find that convenient?" Liam was silent. He hadn't thought about those details. "And one more thing," Eleanor continued. "I've been observing. That girl gets up at night with Leo. She calms him in a way that isn't normal." Liam's heart began to beat faster. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I followed her last night. I saw what she does." Liam felt his world crashing down. Eleanor had discovered the secret. "And what exactly did you see?" "I saw that girl breastfeeding my grandson. I saw something no normal nanny would ever do." Silence stretched between them like a minefield. Liam knew the moment of truth had arrived. "I can explain." "Explain what?" Eleanor shouted. "That you've allowed a complete stranger to breastfeed my grandson? That you've put Leo's health at risk for what? For sleeping with the employee? It's not like that," Liam roared. "And I'm not sleeping with anyone." "Oh no, because I saw that kiss 3 nights ago. I saw you in the hallway behaving as if Sarah had never existed." The mention of Sarah was like a stab. Liam felt all the guilt and pain he had been burying for months rise to the surface. "Sarah is dead," his voice broke, "and Leo is alive. And for the first time in months, my son is healthy and happy. Thanks to that manipulator who took advantage of your grief." "Clara is not a manipulator." At that moment, Clara entered the kitchen with Leo in her arms. She had heard the shouting from the garden. "What's wrong?" she asked, worried. "What's wrong?" Eleanor said, turning to her with furious eyes. "Is that I know your dirty secret." Clara paled. "Ma'am, how much did you charge my son-in-law to breastfeed his child? Or was it free as part of your complete services?" "Eleanor!" Liam shouted. But Clara had begun to cry. "It's not what you think." "Oh no? Then explain to me, little girl, how is it that you have milk to give to a baby who isn't yours?" "Because I lost my daughter," Clara cried, tears streaming down her face. "Because my daughter died, and my body kept producing milk. And when I saw Leo was hungry, I couldn't let him cry." The confession dropped like a bomb in the kitchen. Eleanor was silent for the first time since she had arrived. "What did you say?" Her voice was softer now. "I had a daughter. She was born premature. She lived 3 days. I came to the city because I couldn't stay in Redwood Falls with," she touched her chest, "with this milk that was useless until I met Leo." Liam approached Clara. "Eleanor, she's not charging me anything. But Eleanor interrupted him with a raised hand. Her face had completely changed. Fury had been replaced by something akin to shock. "When did your daughter die?" she asked. "July 18th, Clara whispered. Eleanor sat heavily in a chair. "Sarah died on July 15th. The silence that followed was deafening. The two women looked at each other, recognizing in each other's eyes the same devastating pain of losing a child. "You two," Eleanor began, her voice trembling. "You two lost." At the same time, Liam nodded. "That's why it worked so well. They both needed to heal, and Leo needed what Clara could give him." Eleanor covered her face with her hands. When she lowered them, her eyes were filled with tears. "Liam," she said, her voice completely different. "I have to tell you something. Something I should have told you months ago." Eleanor's tone sent a shiver down Liam's spine. "What is it?" Eleanor looked at Clara, who was still standing with Leo in her arms, and then looked back at Liam. "Sarah. Sarah wasn't happy in her marriage." "What?" "The last few months before she died, she confessed things to me. Doubts, feelings she had buried." Liam felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. "What kind of feelings?" Eleanor took a deep breath. "Sarah had an affair, Liam. The last 3 months of her pregnancy with someone from her work." The revelation hit Liam like lightning. Clara made a sound of surprise and held Leo tighter. What are you saying?" "I'm saying that Sarah wasn't sure who Leo's father was," Eleanor continued, tears streaming down her face. "She told me 2 days before she died. She was terrified, filled with guilt, and she made me promise I would never tell you." Liam staggered and had to lean on the table. Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I've been furious with you for months. Furious because you seemed to be getting over her death so easily. Furious because you found someone to help you when I couldn't even get out of bed." Eleanor broke down completely. "But seeing this girl, understanding her pain," she continued, "I realized my anger wasn't with you. It was with Sarah and with myself, for keeping secrets, for being so lost in my own grief that I couldn't see that you were suffering too." Liam slowly approached Clara and took Leo in his arms. The baby looked at him with his big, trusting eyes, and Liam felt that the love he had for his son hadn't changed one bit. "I don't care," he finally said. "Biologically or not, Leo is my son, and always will be." Clara wiped her tears. "Liam, and you," he said, looking directly at her. "You've been more of a mother to him in these months than many people in a lifetime." Eleanor slowly stood up. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for keeping the secret. I'm sorry for arriving here with so much anger. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't see that you two have created something beautiful from so much pain." Liam extended his free arm to his mother-in-law. "Eleanor, we're all trying to heal. Maybe we can do it together." For the first time since she had arrived, Eleanor smiled. A sad smile, but real. "Do you think there's room for a crazy grandma in this unconventional family?" Clara approached and, to everyone's surprise, hugged Eleanor. "There's always room for more love," she whispered. And for the first time in months, the 3 adults allowed themselves to believe that perhaps, together, they could create something new and beautiful from the broken pieces of their lives. What a series of shocking revelations. How do you feel about Sarah's secret and Eleanor's change of heart? Do you believe this unconventional family can truly heal and build a future together? Share your emotional reactions and what this part taught you in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe for the heartwarming conclusion to their story. Part 5. A new beginning. 6 months later, the house had completely changed. It no longer felt like the place where Liam had survived his grief, but like a true home where an unconventional family had learned to flourish. Eleanor had decided to move permanently to the city. She rented an apartment 2 blocks away, close enough to be part of Leo's daily life, but far enough to give space to the new family dynamic that had formed. The relationship between Eleanor and Clara had evolved surprisingly. The older woman had become a kind of mentor for Clara, teaching her family stories, traditions, and sharing memories of Sarah that helped everyone heal. "How's the community center project going?" Eleanor asked as she watched Clara prepare food. "Good," Clara replied, smiling. "Liam says the proposal is almost ready to submit." Over the past few months, Liam had discovered that Clara had brilliant ideas about designing family spaces. Her experience in social work, combined with her unique perspective on the needs of young mothers, had inspired Liam to develop a completely new project: a community center with breastfeeding spaces, daycare, and support areas for families. "It's incredible what you two can achieve when you combine your talents," Eleanor commented. Clara blushed. Despite the months that had passed, she still wasn't completely used to being treated as an integral part of the family. Liam arrived home early from work, something he had started doing more frequently. His company had grown thanks to the success of the community center project, but he had learned to value the balance between work and family. "Where's my little architect?" he asked, referring to Leo. "In the garden with his blocks," Clara replied. "He's building something he says is like Daddy." Liam smiled. Leo, now a year and a half old, had developed a vibrant personality. He was a confident, affectionate, and extraordinarily happy child. He spoke a funny mix of English and the Zapotec words Clara had taught him. "Can we talk?" Liam asked Clara when Eleanor went to play with Leo. Of course. They sat on the patio, the place where they had had many important conversations over the past few months. "Do you remember when we talked about making this official?" Liam asked. "You mean the adoption?" Over the past few months, they had discussed the possibility of Clara legally adopting Leo. Although she already functioned as his mother in every practical sense, they wanted to formalize the relationship to protect the family they had created. "Yes, but I also mean us." Clara looked at him curiously. "Us?" Liam suddenly got nervous. He had been planning this moment for weeks, but now that it had arrived, he felt like a teenager on his first date. "Clara, these past few months with you they've been the happiest of my life since Sarah died. Not just because Leo is doing well, but because you have given me back something I thought I had lost forever." "What?" "The ability to love, to trust, to believe that it's possible to build something beautiful after so much loss." Clara felt her heart pound. "Liam, I know we started in an unconventional way. I know people will think it's too soon, or that it's strange, or that it's not right, but I don't care what people think." Liam stood up from his chair and knelt in front of her. Clara covered her mouth with her hands, understanding what was happening. "What matters to me is that we are a family. We are already a family. Leo calls you Mom. Eleanor treats you like a daughter. And me? I fell in love with you without realizing it, watching you care for my son, watching you heal, watching you flourish." Liam pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. "Clara Evans, will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Clara's face. "Liam, Before you answer," he interrupted, "I have to tell you something else." Clara looked at him expectantly. "I'm pregnant." Liam blinked, confused. "What?" Clara laughed through her tears. I said I'm pregnant. That was my secret. I was going to tell you tonight." Liam froze, still kneeling, with the ring box in his hands. You're pregnant?" 8 weeks, Clara confirmed. "I went to the doctor yesterday. That's why Eleanor came with me, even though we said we were going shopping." "Eleanor already knows?" "Yes. She insisted I tell you today. She said we'd had enough secrets in this family." Liam sat on the floor, overwhelmed. "We're having a baby. We're having a baby," Clara confirmed. "And my proposal?" Clara got off the chair and knelt in front of him. "My answer is yes. Yes to everything. Yes to marriage. Yes to family. Yes to building a life together." Liam put the ring on her finger, a simple but beautiful solitaire that had belonged to his grandmother. "How do you think Leo will react when we tell him he's going to have a little brother or sister?" "I think he'll want to teach them how to build with blocks," Clara replied. They kissed on the patio as the sun set over the city. From the garden came Leo's laughter playing with Eleanor, and for the first time in a long time, the future looked full of beautiful possibilities. "You know what's the craziest thing about all this?" Liam said, hugging Clara. "What?" "That it started with something people would consider unthinkable. A stranger breastfeeding my son, and it turned out to be the most natural thing in the world." Clara leaned against his chest. "Sometimes the best families are born from the most unexpected circumstances. Do you think Sarah would be okay with this?" Clara thought for a moment. "I think Sarah would want Leo to be loved, and for you to be happy. And I think that's exactly what we have." That night, during dinner, they announced the 2 pieces of news: the engagement and the pregnancy. Leo didn't fully understand what it meant, but he applauded because all the adults were happy. Eleanor cried tears of joy and declared that she would have to start knitting blankets for the new baby. "You know what this means?" Eleanor said, looking at her future daughter-in-law. "That you'll have to let me organize the wedding." "Should I be worried?" Clara asked. "Very much," Liam replied, and everyone laughed. As they cleaned up after dinner, Liam observed his home. Eleanor singing lullabies to Leo, Clara washing dishes with a protective hand over her gently swelling belly, toys scattered on the floor, family photos on the walls that now included pictures of all of them together. It wasn't the family he had planned to have, but it was perfect in a way he could never have imagined. And the most unthinkable thing of all was that it had been born from a moment of desperation in the early hours of the morning, when a grieving woman decided to feed a hungry baby with the love she couldn't give to her own lost daughter. Sometimes, Liam thought, miracles arrive disguised as tragedies. And sometimes, the perfect family is the one you never expected to have. What an incredible twist. Clara is pregnant. How do you feel about this new chapter for Liam and Clara's unconventional family? Do you believe their love story is a true miracle? Share your emotional reactions and thoughts on their future in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for the final, beautiful conclusion to their journey. Part 6. A home built on unconditional love. "Are you nervous?" Eleanor asked as she adjusted Liam's tie. "Very," he admitted, looking in the mirror. "Does it show?" "Just a little," Eleanor laughed. "But it's normal. I was nervous too the day I married Sarah's dad." 6 months had passed since the proposal. Clara was in her 7th month of pregnancy, radiant and beautiful, with a round belly that Leo adored touching to talk to the baby. The wedding would be held in the gardens of the Willow Creek estate, an intimate and elegant venue in the countryside. It wouldn't be a huge celebration, just close family and a few friends, but Liam wanted it to be perfect for Clara. "How is she?" Liam asked. "Nervous too, but happy." "Very happy," Eleanor replied. "You know what she told me yesterday?" "What?" that she never thought it would be possible to feel so complete after losing hope, that you and Leo gave her back the faith that life can be beautiful again. Liam felt a lump form in his throat. She saved me too, I know. You both saved each other, and that's the most beautiful thing about true love. In the next room, Clara was getting ready with the help of her younger sister, who had traveled from Redwood Falls for the wedding. The reconciliation with her family had been gradual, but real. When her parents found out she was marrying a good man and that they were going to have another grandchild, they decided it was time to forgive and support her. "You look beautiful," her sister said, adjusting her veil. Clara looked at herself in the mirror. The dress was simple but elegant, specially designed to accommodate her pregnancy. She looked happy, healthy, complete. "Do you think Mom would have been proud?" she asked, referring to her mother, who had died when she was a teenager. "I'm sure. You're marrying a man who loves you. You have a son who adores you and another baby on the way. What more could a mother want for her daughter?" Leo ran into the room, dressed in a small suit that made him look like a miniature Liam. "Mommy C, it's time!" Clara knelt down with difficulty to hug him. "Are you ready to be my ring bearer?" "Yes, I have the rings," he said, showing the small pillow where the fake rings were sewn, while Eleanor kept the real ones safe. The ceremony was perfect. Liam waited at the altar, watching Clara walk towards him with a smile that could have lit up the whole city. Leo walked in front of her, taking his role very seriously, throwing rose petals with absolute concentration. When Clara reached the altar, Liam took her hands. "You're beautiful," he whispered. "You too," she replied, making him laugh. The minister began the ceremony, but Liam could barely concentrate on the words. He was lost looking at Clara, thinking about the whole journey they had taken to get to that moment. "Liam, would you like to repeat your vows?" the minister asked. Liam took a deep breath and took Clara's hands. "Clara, when you came into my life, I was completely lost. I didn't know how to be a father. I didn't know how to live without Sarah. I didn't know how to move forward. You not only saved my son, you saved me too." Clara had tears in her eyes. "You taught me that love doesn't have just one form. You taught me that families can be born in the most unexpected ways. You taught me that it's possible to heal without forgetting, and that it's possible to love completely again." Liam looked towards Leo, who was standing next to Eleanor. "I promise to love you not only as my wife, but as the mother you chose to be for Leo, as the mother you will be for our baby, and as the extraordinary woman you are. I promise to honor your pain as well as I honor your joy. I promise to build with you a family based on love, not on conventions." "Clara, would you like to repeat your vows?" the minister asked. Clara wiped her tears and smiled. "Liam, when I lost my daughter, I thought I had lost everything. I thought I would never be a mother again, that I would never be happy again, that my heart was broken forever." Her voice broke a little, but she continued. "Then I met Leo, and he taught me that a mother's love doesn't depend on who gave birth to you, but on who chooses to stay awake with you on difficult nights. And I met you, and you taught me that it's possible to love someone deeply without betraying the memory of those we lost." Clara looked towards Eleanor. "I promise to love Leo as if he were born from me, because in every way that matters, he was. I promise to honor Sarah's memory by being the best mother and wife I can be, and I promise to build with you a family that proves that love always finds a way." The minister smiled. "By the power vested in me by the church and the state, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." The kiss was soft, full of promises and a future that shone before them. The guests applauded, but Liam and Clara only had eyes for each other. Leo ran towards them shouting, "We're official family now," which made everyone laugh. During the reception, Eleanor gave a speech that left no guinea. When my daughter Sarah died, I thought my world had ended. I thought I would never smile again, that I would never feel joy again. I was furious with God, with life, with everything. She paused, looking at Liam and Clara. But today I understand that sometimes life takes something from us to give us something different, something we didn't know we needed. Liam not only found a new wife, he found a life partner. Clara not only found a husband, she found a complete family. And Leo not only found a mother, he found someone who loves him as if he were born from her heart. Eleanor raised her glass. To families born from pain and strengthened by love, to miracles that arrive disguised as tragedies, and to proving that what seems unthinkable is sometimes exactly what we need. 3 months after the wedding, on a January morning, Clara woke Liam with contractions. "It's time," she whispered. The labor was fast and uncomplicated. Luna Thorne Evans was born at 6:47 in the morning, weighing 7 pounds, with her mother's strong lungs and her father's dark eyes. When the baby was placed in Clara's arms, Liam saw something he would never forget. The look of a mother who had lost a daughter and now had the opportunity to be a mother again. "She's perfect," Clara whispered. "Like her mom?" Liam replied. Leo arrived at the hospital with Eleanor, carrying a teddy bear for his new sister. "Can I hold her?" he asked reverently. Carefully, they helped him sit in the hospital chair and placed Luna in his arms. "Hello, Luna," Leo whispered. "I'm your big brother. I'm going to teach you how to play with blocks and how to talk like Mommy C." Liam looked around the hospital room, his radiant wife holding their new daughter, his eldest son whispering secrets to his sister, his mother-in-law crying tears of joy as she took photos. It was a family that had been born from loss, from pain, and from a desperate decision in the early hours of the morning. It was a family that society might consider unconventional, even strange. But it was his family. It was perfect, and it had begun with something everyone would consider unthinkable. A stranger feeding another's baby with milk meant for a daughter she had lost. Sometimes, Liam thought as he watched Clara cradle Luna, the most beautiful endings are born from the most unexpected beginnings. And sometimes the unthinkable turns out to be exactly what you needed without knowing it. Epilogue. 5 years later, 5 years had passed since that early morning that changed everything forever. Liam woke to the familiar sound of laughter coming from the garden. It was 7 on a Saturday morning, and as always, Leo and Luna had woken up early to play before the rest of the family. He got up and walked to the window. In the garden, Leo, now 6.5, was building a tower of blocks, patiently explaining to Luna, 4, the rules of architecture as he understood them. "Look, Luna, if you put the red block there, the whole tower is going to fall," he said with the seriousness of an experienced engineer. "But red is my favorite," Luna replied, with the stubbornness she had inherited from both parents. "Okay, but put it here instead," Leo negotiated, always patient with his younger sister. Liam smiled. The relationship between the siblings was one of the most beautiful gifts of their reconstituted family. Leo had welcomed Luna not only as a sister, but as his adventure companion, and protected her with a fierceness that sometimes surprised the adults. "Are the architects awake yet?" Clara asked, appearing beside Liam at the window. "As always, I think they inherited your habit of waking up early." Clara leaned on Liam's shoulder, her 5-month pregnant belly barely beginning to show. Yes, there was a third surprise on the way, a baby arriving in December to further complete their family. "How are you feeling?" Liam asked, placing a protective hand on her belly. "Good," Tired, but good. This baby seems calmer than Luna was in my belly. Let's hope he's calmer than Luna in general," Liam joked. Luna had turned out to be a small hurricane of energy, curiosity, and determination. She was bright, affectionate, and absolutely incapable of sitting still for more than 5 minutes. Leo, on the contrary, had developed a more reflective personality, always looking after his younger sister and showing a maturity that sometimes worried Liam and Clara. "Grandma Eleanor is coming for breakfast, right?" Clara asked. "Yes," she said. She was bringing sweet pastries from that new bakery. Eleanor, now 68, had become the perfect grandmother. She lived 3 blocks away and spent practically every day with them. The children adored her, and she had found in them a reason to wake up every morning with joy. The relationship between Eleanor and Clara had evolved into one of the strongest connections in the family. Eleanor had taught Clara all the family recipes, traditions, and stories she wanted the children to know. Clara, in turn, had helped Eleanor process her grief for Sarah and find a new way to be a mother and grandmother. "What time is the meeting with the architect for the new center?" Clara asked. "At 10. Are you sure you want to come?" "Of course, it's my project too," she interjected. Liam's firm had grown enormously in recent years, specializing in community and family spaces. The Lactation and Family Support Center they had designed together had become a model they were replicating in several cities across the country. Clara had finished her social work degree studying at night, and now worked part-time as a consultant, specializing in the needs of young families. "Daddy, Mommy, come see!" Leo shouted from the garden. "Luna built a tower that doesn't fall!" Liam and Clara went down to the garden, where Luna had indeed managed to build a wobbly but stable tower with her favorite red blocks. "It's the most beautiful tower in the world," Liam declared, picking up Luna. "Isn't it?" Luna replied, beaming with pride. "Leo taught me the trick. Leo's the best big brother in the world," Clara said, ruffling her eldest son's hair. "And Luna's the best little sister," Leo replied, "even if sometimes she's really stubborn." "Stubborn," Liam corrected automatically. "Stubborn," Leo repeated, "but I love her very much." At that moment, Eleanor arrived with a large bag of sweet pastries and a smile that lit up her whole face. "Grandma!" The children shouted in unison, running towards her. "My favorite architects," Eleanor said, hugging them. "What did you build today?" As the children explained their morning projects, Liam observed the scene. His family having breakfast in their garden, laughing, planning the day, completely normal and extraordinary at the same time. "What are you thinking about?" Clara asked, noticing his pensive expression. "About how unthinkable all of this was 5 years ago." Clara followed his gaze towards the children, who were now convincing Eleanor to help them build a castle. "You mean finding me breastfeeding Leo?" "I mean everything. That a tragedy became the foundation of something so beautiful. That a desperate decision in the early hours of the morning turned out to be the best decision of our lives." Clara took his hand. "You know what seems even more unthinkable to me?" "What?" "That now, when people see us, they only see a normal family. No one imagines how it all started. No one knows that Leo isn't biologically yours, or that I'm not the mother who gave birth to him. They just see a dad, a mom, 2 kids, and a grandma who adores them." Liam nodded. It was true. At Leo's school, at work, at the supermarket, no one questioned their family. They were simply the Thorne Evanson family, a family like any other. "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't found you that night," Liam said. "You wouldn't have," Clara replied with certainty. "I hadn't slept in 3 nights. I would have fallen asleep, and you would have woken up to Leo's crying." Fate was going to find a way to bring us together. Do you believe in fate? I believe that people who need to find each other do, one way or another. Luna ran towards them, with a flower she had picked from the garden. "Mommy, this is for the baby in your tummy," she said, placing the flower on Clara's belly. "How do you know the baby wants it?" Clara asked. "Because it told me," Luna replied naturally. "It told me it likes yellow flowers." Liam and Clara exchanged an amused glance. Luna had developed a very particular relationship with the baby on the way, constantly talking to it and insisting it responded. "And what else did the baby tell you?" Liam asked, playing along. "That it's very happy to have such a big family, and that it can't wait to play with us." Leo approached the group. "I talk to the baby too. I tell it that when it's born, I'm going to teach it how to build and how to be a good big brother, just like Mommy C taught me." Leo's words made Clara's eyes well up. After 5 years, she still got emotional when she heard Leo talk about her as his mother. "Are you crying again?" Luna asked, worried. "They're happy tears," Clara explained. "Sometimes when a mom is very, very happy, she cries a little." "Oh, like when Daddy cries watching movies," Leo said wisely. "Hey, that was confidential information," Liam protested, making everyone laugh. Eleanor approached the family group. "Do you know what day it is today?" The adults looked at each other, trying to remember if they had forgotten any important date. "It's October 15th, Eleanor said. "Exactly 5 years ago today, Clara knocked on the door of this house for the first time." Liam and Clara realized she was right. It had been on October 15th when Clara arrived, nervous and desperate, answering a job ad. "Should we celebrate?" Liam asked. "We already are," Eleanor replied. "Every day we spend together is a celebration of what we built from the ashes of our pain." Leo frowned. "What are ashes?" "It's a way of saying that sometimes, when something very sad happens, we can use that sadness to build something beautiful," Clara explained. "Like when my favorite toy broke and you helped me make a new one that was better." Exactly like that. Luna, who had been listening attentively, declared, "Then we are a new toy that's better." Everyone laughed at the childish logic that, in some way, perfectly captured what they had achieved. That night, after putting the children to bed, Liam and Clara sat on the patio where he had proposed to her. It was their special place, where they had had the most important conversations of their relationship. "Do you think Sarah would be proud of what we've built?" Liam asked. It was a question he asked from time to time, especially at significant moments. "I think Sarah would be grateful that Leo has a mother who loves him, that you are happy, and that her memory lives on in the stories we tell him, and in the love his mother gives to our children," Clara replied. "And you? Do you think Hope would be proud of the mother you became?" Clara smiled, touching her belly. "I think my Hope guided me to Leo, because she knew we both needed to heal each other, and I think she's happy now seeing that I could be a mother after all, just in a way I never imagined." They sat in silence, listening to the sounds of the night, thinking about the extraordinary path that had led them to that moment. "You know what's the most unthinkable part of this whole story?" Liam finally said. "What?" "That now it's completely normal, waking up with you every morning, seeing our children playing together, planning the future with Eleanor. All of that feels like the most natural thing in the world." Clara leaned on his shoulder. "That's the magic of true love. It makes the impossible inevitable." Upstairs in his room, Leo woke briefly and heard the soft voices of his parents on the patio. He felt safe and loved, unaware that his family had been born from extraordinary circumstances. For him, it had always been normal to have a Mommy C who loved him unconditionally, a daddy who played with him every night, a grandma Eleanor who told him stories, and now a sister Luna who followed him everywhere. In the next room, Luna slept soundly, one hand on her favorite doll, and the other on the drawing she had made that afternoon of her family. 5 stick figures holding hands, with a 6th small figure in the mother's belly. And on the patio, Liam and Clara continued talking about their dreams for the future, about the baby to come, about the work projects that excited them, about the vacations they wanted to take with the children. They talked about everything and nothing, as couples who truly love each other do, in a home full of love that had been born from the most unthinkable decision. A grieving woman feeding another's baby with the milk meant for the daughter she had lost. 5 years later, that decision had blossomed into something beautiful, normal, and perfectly unthinkable. A family built not of blood, but of love, sacrifice, and the determination to heal together. And on quiet nights like this, when everyone was healthy and happy under the same roof, Liam and Clara knew that they had achieved something truly extraordinary. They had transformed the unthinkable into the inevitable, pain into joy, and loss into love. Their story had begun in the early morning with a secret. Now it was a family that had nothing to hide, because they had learned that the best love stories don't always begin as one expects, but always end exactly as they should be. What an incredibly powerful and inspiring conclusion. This story truly shows the depth of human connection and the unexpected paths to happiness. Did this story move you? What was the most impactful moment for you? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more extraordinary tales.